1,400 employees to get up to full employment at the new Mazda Toyota manufacturing plant in Alabama. And Mazda's got some brand new vehicles they're bringing to the market in 2022 for those of us who are 6'2" or taller.
Let me start by talking about our plant in Alabama, which is a partnership between Mazda and Toyota. And really, that plant is bringing together two of the world's, I think, best automotive manufacturers, bringing our best production engineers together, bringing technology from both parents, and also creating new technologies as we go. Yeah, the Help Wanted sign is out, and we're very much looking forward to welcoming a total of 4,000 people onto our campus, and a couple thousand more at new local suppliers.
Mazda is having year-to-date sales are up just about 30%. What models are people buying, and what do you think is driving that huge uptick that we're seeing in your sales?
Look at every model tested this year by IIHS. Every Mazda tested received Top Safety Pick Plus. We have a new consumer finance partner in Mazda Financial Services, and that is driving additional traction in the showrooms. And we have 200 next generation stores operating, and we'll have 300 in just 12 months' time. And that actually represents an enormous investment, along with the plant in Alabama and the CX-50, into this market. So we're very pleased to see that a return on that investment this year.
What makes your vehicles consistently so reliable, and Japanese vehicles overall?
We spend an awful lot of time with statistics and measurements and teaching people how to put things together in a very consistent way. But the Mazda way is to go one step further, which is to actually engineer to a feeling. How does the car feel? And how do we make people feel when they're on board the car, whether they're driving or passengers? So in addition to that reliability that you mentioned, we try to make vehicles engaging to drive and fun to own.
How much labor do you employ? And then have you actually seen labor shortages or, difficulties with the labor market many sectors have?
We're on pace. So we start building CX-50 in January next year, and it'll be in showrooms in the spring. The turnout is not overwhelming, and it's not that we have a big surplus. So we're on track. We're also building already the partner product in the plant, the Corolla Cross from Toyota. We've got more to do. Right now, 95% or more of vehicles sold in the U.S. are essentially conventionally powered. That's the first point. Second point is that customers, at least the ones that we've surveyed, most of them drive less than 30 miles a day. And the third point is that we in the U.S. do not have a very sustainable electric power grid. So when we put all of these factors together and we say, what is the real world benefit towards CO2 and reducing greenhouse gas in the environment, we need many, many solutions, not just a long-range EV. We need to put EVs in the hands of many customers. We need to have alternatives to EV, which also reduce carbon emissions, whether they're conventional powertrains or plug-in hybrids or other things. And so we take an approach that says, what is the real world impact of carbon emissions, not just the simple explanation that there isn't a tailpipe on board the car. It's the necessary element, along with developments in battery technology that allow us to really provide what society needs right now, which is less greenhouse gas. We will introduce by 2025 13 electrified vehicles, 3 of them purely battery electric, also hybrid and plug-in hybrid models, depending on what customers need.
what is an autonomous vehicle? It's the ultimate mobile device. This should have been Apple's market. Apple should have bought Tesla, actually, when they were given the opportunity. We're happy they didn't, but this is very hard work. And with all the management turnover, we'd be surprised if they're able to pull it off that quickly. And we're in the business of manufacturing factories. Well, Tesla is vertically integrated, which is really important when it comes to robotaxis, artificial intelligence, demand, at least in the early stages, vertical integration. And I don't know if outsourcing to another firm will work for Apple in this case. And the debt that he has probably is in Tesla and SpaceX. I would bet that any financial advisor would say, you have got to diversify. Now, he went through a near-death experience in 2008. He knows that things can go wrong. And so he also has big tax bills. So understand it, take profits. There's nothing wrong with taking profits. He still is one of the biggest shareholders of the company.
Shares of XPeng rose a bit yesterday. They continue their uptrend today. That's after the company reported numbers that beat estimates. Actually, now they've turned lower a little bit today. But we saw deliveries rise 14% higher than the upper end of the company's outlook that it gave back in August. One of the ways that you all were able to beat in terms of deliveries is you were able to get semiconductors into your vehicles, which, as we know, has been challenging for a lot of automakers, and how you have been able to manage through this period of time.
We have been trying to really hard to be nimble around the supply chain, try to find alternative source of suppliers, at the same time trying to really make early sort of inventory decisions that give us a bit of breathing room. But still, I think we're faced with a very challenging supply chain dynamic in this sector, not just for the last quarter, but also for this quarter, as well as the next few quarters to come as well. So we have to be doing the same very, very significant focus and nimbleness to tackle that problem.
What you're seeing in China in terms of the Chinese infrastructure for electric vehicles? The
Chinese government has been very supportive of the development of new energy vehicle sector. And at the same time, I think you saw the consumer enthusiasm embracing new energy and smart vehicles has been really ticking up quite robustly. So I think overall, you see the big investment dollars pouring into the infrastructure sector, both from the government as well as from the private sectors. So I think for us, we actually also invest in our own, infrastructure. For example, a supercharging network that's self-branded, only caters to our drivers. At the same time, I think we are relying on infrastructures that's supported by the government on highways and state-funded infrastructure grids. So I think overall there is a very strong, I would say, momentum to push for the growth of the sector here in China. We have a strong consumer demand for smart new energy vehicles. Especially last quarter, you saw actually a number of cases where cities has been locked up because pandemic outbreaks. Impacted our sales, our services, and our delivery capabilities. So if you remove those factors, I think our numbers will be even higher, for these cities. So looking forward, if we remove the impact of the pandemic, for our operations, I think there's definitely going to be even more upside for our growth. Well, we unveiled the design of G9 last week at the Guangzhou Auto Show here in China. It has caused rave reviews, and I think the feedback's been tremendous. But we haven't really revealed a lot of the details of the product, which we think will be, the technology leader when it launches in the second half of next year. You will have I would say the cutting edge autonomous driving architecture, as well as the software packages to really support, what we call XPilot 4.0, which allows citywide, NGP, navigation guided pilot features, which is pretty much autonomous driving, but obviously with drivers behind the wheel. But also it will have a supercharging capability that utilize 800 volt of charging platform, and that can really charge our vehicle in up to like 200 kilometers of range in less than 5 minutes.